And welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build your own custom floating flower forest islands in Minecraft using World Edit and Voxel Sniper. And today we are going to be using the wooden axe for World Edit and the arrow and gunpowder for Voxel Sniper, along with the rest of these blocks just to make up the island and the biome itself. So we're going to be using clay, cobblestone, andesite, stone, purple terracotta, green terracotta, lime terracotta, coarse dirt, podzol, the grass block, grass itself, the fern, and then all the flowers except for the dandelion. Then we're gonna start off by using the voxel sniper command /B over D1. And what this is doing is it's setting our brush to the overlay tool with a depth of 1. Now we're going to set the brush size to 5 with /B5, and now we're going to set our voxel to stone with /V stone. Now whenever we right click, it will have a disc form into the ground with a radius of 5 overlaying the grass. So now we can just start clicking and start to form that cone shape that we want our islands to all look like. And now I'm just going to kind of set out a quick floor plan for where I want all our islands to be. I'm thinking we're going to do about 3 islands today, maybe one there, and let's do a little bit of a longer one, longer and thinner one right here. Then we're going to start actually putting in the base of where we want the cones to start sprouting up from the ground. Like so. Maybe make this area a little bit smoother here. Like so. There we go. Make this a little bit taller. And this one a little taller here. Now we're going to lower our brush size to 3 with a /B3. This way we can start to lower the size of the stone disc that's spawning in so that we can actually make the cone shape start to come to a point. And then once we get it to the size that we want, we go in by hand using the stone block and just topping off each of these peaks. And it's easy to spend a lot of time doing this. I would suggest just going in and spamming blocks, because it's easy to overthink it and make it look non-organic and really geometric, because it is a game of blocks after all, and you do want your organics to look as random as possible. So just kind of fly in, don't give it too much thought, and then you'll be done before you know it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip these islands upside down. So we're going to set our first position over here with //pause 1. Then we're going to fly up into the sky over all of these peaks in the opposite corner, making sure that we have the whole area selected in the region. Now we're going to do //pause 2. Then we're going to fly into the middle of it and copy it all with the copy command, //copy. Then we're going to set the whole thing to air with //set air. We're going to look up into the sky, type //flip, and then we're going to paste it in minus the air blocks with //paste -a. And there we go. Now we have all of these kind of formed in. And one of the things that I like to do with the flower forest biome is I like to make the hills a lot more shallow and rolling. So what we're going to do, instead of using the overlay tool again, we're just going to trace the outline with a stone block, just keeping it one block back from the edge itself. This gives it just a really nice feel of just a slow sloping hill, nothing too aggressive, and just gives it a really cozy feel overall once the flower forest is done. It does take a little bit longer than using the overlay tool, but once we have the outline, we can use World Edit to just fill the rest of it in with stone. So we're going to do //fill stone 100. And once we have that on the edges there, then I do use the overlay command, so /B over D1 /B3, and then I just kind of tap in about 3 of these. And if you do mess up, type /U to get rid of your last command, just to get a little bit nicer of a hill. And you'll see that this is just a really nice, slow, gradual uphill that I think is kind of stereotypical of the flower forest biome. Now we're going to do it once again on all these bigger islands. I'm going to try to go fairly fast just so I can keep this video kind of short. Then once we have this done, we're going to go through and fill it again using the World Edit command //fill 100. We might need a little bit more than 100 blocks though, because this is a much bigger island than the last one. Then rounding the corner here, almost done. I am trying to spam this as quickly as possible. Then got it here, and that should do it, and we're done. So now // fill 100, is that enough? Yes, it is. Then we go back to the B/D1 command, which is already set to our gunpowder, and I'll make 2 more sets of hills right here. There we go. And then on to the last island. Just quickly trace it out again. If you are working with a series of a lot of islands, it would probably be worth it to just use the B/D1 command in this situation, just to save yourself a lot of time. But since I'm only working with 3 islands, I'm going to put in the little extra effort just to give it the nice detail that I want. And done with that one, /fill 100, make a small little hill in the center, and we're done with that. Now it's time to go through and start texturing up the base of the island, so we're going to use the command /b space SBMM, and what this is doing is this is just a splatter brush, so we're going to set the replace voxel to stone with the VR replace, then we're going to use clay for the splatter voxel with /v clay. We're going to set our brush size to 5. Now whenever we right click with the gunpowder, it's going to splatter clay in a randomly generated just area within the brush size that we set it to. And I just like to use clay on the bottom of the island to just give it a more unique feel to it, so as it gets just deeper into the ground, the texture starts to change, much like in real life how rocks don't always all have the same shade. It just gives it a nice variation in the texture that I think helps the build as a whole. Now what we're going to do is we're going to replace a lot of the upper layer with sponge, and I just use sponge because it's just a bright block that I can see easily. You can really use whatever block you want, but we are going to be replacing it with the blocks, the purple terracotta, the green terracotta, the lime terracotta, and the coarse dirt. So we're just going to go through and do /b space SBMM once again, /VR stone, and /v sponge with a brush size of 5. And we're just going to /u that, /v sponge. There we go. And with this, we're just going to spam it all along the side of these islands here. And there really is no proper technique to this, just hold down your gunpowder and fly around the island. Well, I guess that in itself is a proper technique, but really we're just going for time savers here, because we are trying to do this quickly. But if you're taking on this project yourself, you don't need to really stress how long it's taking you unless you have a time limit, I guess. I'm just trying to go quickly for the sake of the video. So now we're going to select this whole area in a region once again with /pause1, fly down to the other side, and do /pause2. Now we are going to replace sponge to 159:10, 159:13, 159:5, and then 3:1. So we're going to do /replace sponge 159:10, comma 159:13, comma 159:5, comma 3:1, and we do want more coarse dirt in there, so we're going to do 3:1 3 times, enter, and that'll give it a nice texture. I do like throwing in the green, purple, and dark green colors in there to really bring more life to the build, because the Flower Forest biome is really colorful, and it just gives it a nicer blend into the gray scale stone itself. If you don't do that, it just gives it a really just abrupt contrast between the bright colors and the gray underneath. This kind of blends it all together and just gives it a much nicer feel. Now we're going to do the command /B/D1 once again. We're going to set the brush size to 10 and the voxel to grass, but this time we're going to use the arrow, and the arrow does the exact opposite of the gunpowder. So now it's going to integrate the grass into the stone itself instead of adding onto the top of it. So then we're going to fly around to all of the islands, just spamming the arrow to completely cover it with the grass block. And now it's a good time to take a step back and look and see if it looks like it blends well, and I think it does. Now we're going to replace the grass to the grass block, podzol, and coarse dirt. So we're going to do /replace 2 with a lot of 2's because we want the majority to be grass, then comma 3:1, comma 3:2. There we go, and that just gives it a little bit extra texture that really brings the build to life. And now it is time to start putting in the birch trees. And I just chose this type of tree because I really like the white texture that just adds a little bit more bright and vibrance to the top of the build. It really matches how colorful the colorful flowers are. So we're going to do the command /B tree birch, and then we're going to right click or /U/B tree to get the list. I did spell that right, didn't I? Oh, I mistyped it. So we're going to do B tree birch, and then we're going to right click along the edges to give the shorter birch trees on the edge, and then in the middle we're going to do the taller birch trees to just add a little bit more height and just give it an appealing slope that kind of copies the base, that just gives the build a really just unified feel, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Then on this island, and once again, just don't put too much thought into where you're placing these, just make it random and it'll look good in the end. When working with organics, that's the best thing you can do. And there. Now we're going to do /B tree tall _ birch. Then we're going to place these somewhat sparingly in the middle of the build, like so. Yeah, I really like the way that looks. Then we'll fly into the middle here, place a handful there. There we go. And let's say 3 more into this build. And I do want a couple more trees with a lot of height, so I'm just going to get rid of those until we get a tall one. I think that's good enough. And now it's time to spawn in all of the grass. So we're going to use the command /B over or B sover CD1 /VI1 /VR0 and /V long _ grass. Then we're going to set our brush size to 10, and we're just going to hold down the gunpowder to really spam it all over this area to just completely cover it with grass. That way when we're going to use the grass to replace it with all the flowers, so we want as much grass on here as possible. So now that we have all this spammed in, we are going to run a replace command for grass that encompasses all of these flowers and the ferns. So the flowers IDs go 38:0 all the way up to 38:8. So we're going to do / replace 31:1 with 38:0, 38:1, 38:2, 38:3, 38:4, 38:5, 38:6, 38:7, 38:8. Then we're going to add in the ferns using 31:2, and we're just going to put this in a couple times. I'm going to put it in about 5 times. 31:2, 31:2, and then one more, 2, 31:2. If this doesn't turn out the way you want it, you can always just go back and edit the percents. And now we're going to go in with 31:1 and spam this in a lot because we do want the majority of the blocks to be grass. So once we have all this plugged in, we're going to enter and see how that looks. And I really like the way that turned out. We definitely have a lot of flowers in there, but we do have enough grass that it doesn't look too over the top. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit more texture to the stone. So we're going to replace the stone with 1, 1:5, and 4. So we're going to run that command / replace stone with 1, 1:4, 5. Undo. How did I mess that up? Oh, we're 1:5, 4. That's the command we want to run. There we go. And once we clean up the bottom here, that should do it. So we're just gonna make sure we set a region on this side of the mess we've created on the bottom. And there's really no way to avoid creating a mess on the ground. It's just a byproduct of using the organic brushes, but that's okay. It really doesn't take that much time to fix. So we're going to set the second position on the ground, or we should do it a little bit in the air so that we can make sure we have that stone selected in the region. And then we're going to set the whole thing to air, and then we're going to do the B over D1 command once again with a brush size of 10 and a voxel of grass, and using the arrow we're just going to get rid of all the dirt splashes on the ground, and that should do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it showed you how to make just some really awesome looking flower forests in Minecraft. I had a lot of fun with this. It's a little bit more kind of unique of a biome, just with all the bright colorful flowers, and just using the stained clay to integrate it into the dark grayscale. I think that's a really key component. And without further ado, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you now feel inspired to make some of these for yourself, and thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video.